Hi, I'm Elise and welcome to Which Way. Today I'll be taking you through the Witches of Hansel and Gretel films. I won't be looking into any animated films or those based off the Humperdinck opera, which itself was inspired by the tale collected by the Brothers Grimm, which we all know. Siblings Hansel and Gretel are abandoned by their parents in the Black Forest. They come across a gingerbread house and an old woman invites them inside, and revealing herself to be a witch, she enslaves Gretel and fattens up Hansel for the slaughter. Clever Gretel tricks the witch into the oven, burning her alive, and the children loot the witch's house before returning to live with their parents again. That footage is from the 1909 silent era film Hansel and Gretel, and it's the earliest I could find. And for the next 80 years, the title, story, and appearance of the witch stay pretty much the same, such as in the two adaptations from 1954. These two witches are very similar. One witch is portrayed by Elizabeth Ilner, and this whole film takes place outside of the gingerbread house. The other witch is portrayed by Barbara Galuna, whose home is magically animated. In 1983, we have another two films where the classic pointed hat is added to our witches. In Tim Burton's adaptation, we have Michael Yama portraying the stepmother and the candy cane nose, cookie cutter and nunchuck wielding witch. In the fairy tale theatre adaptation, we have Joan Collins portraying the more classic stepmother and problematic hooked nose witch. Joan Collins also portrayed the witch Bubbles McGee in season 8 of American Horror Story Apocalypse. In 1988, Cloris Leachman portrays the witch whose appearance as a kind old woman is a disguise, and she reveals her true appearance as the haggard Griselda, the witch who speaks in rhymes. This is the first time we see Gretel using the witch's magic against her. Cloris Leachman also had other witchy roles in the 1993 film Double Double, Toil and Trouble. In 2002, we are listening to a bedtime story of Hansel and Gretel with a crazy subplot going on involving a fairy and the Sandman. Lynn Redgrave's witch again uses the guise of a friendly old woman before revealing her true self, this time with the addition of green skin. This film has some weird stuff going on and some terrible one-liners.
Oh, time for the fava beans and a nice Chianti.
In 2012, we have a title change in Witch Slayer Gretel, where Hansel is the one who is the Witch Slayer, so go figure. This is the first film to act as a sequel to the original fairy tale and to involve more than one witch. But apparently to be a witch, you have to wear a red satin slip dress. The costuming is all over the place with this one. Shannon Doherty portrays Gretel, whose body has been taken over by the witch they thought dead, and we know her, of course, from the Charmed series as one of the three sisters, but she also had another witchy role in 2000's Satan's School for Girls. 2013 saw 4 adaptations, 2 of which take a similar concept from Witch Slayer Gretel, with Hansel and Gretel again hunting witches. I couldn't find Hansel and Gretel Warriors of Witchcraft, but I'm kinda glad because it does not look great. But the other one is one of my favorites, Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters. The intro is the classic story, but after their escape, they hunt down witches. From his time being fed sweets, Hansel has developed diabetes, which I thought was a fun concept. It's almost a supernatural action comedy with gore and guns. I like how in the opening credits they mimic an actual historical woodcut, and others can be seen throughout the film. This plot expands on the witches even further, and there are many, even white witches, but the main 3 look like they belong in a death metal band. Monique Ganderton, who plays the Candy Witch, also appears as the witch Cerilda in season 1 of the Sleepy Hollow TV series. The next 2 2013 films brought in the idea that the witch's cannibalistic habits are to keep her youth. Hansel and Gretel Get Baked has Lara Flynn Boyle portraying a pot-dealing witch. her specialty Black Forest strain lures teenagers to her home for her to consume and then fertilize her own forest. That one was not great, and neither was the other 2013 film Hansel and Gretel. This witch, portrayed by Dee Wallace, owns a cafe called the Gingerbread House. She pulls a Sweeney Todd, her best-selling meat pies are made of human flesh, and Hansel and Gretel have to escape her clutches. She also causes her captives to have some awesome hallucinatory scenes. That's about the best I can say for this film. Dee Wallace also appears in other witchy roles, as Sunny in 2012's The Lords of Salem and Haiti Hallow in 2016 All Hallows Eve. But she doesn't make it into the sequel. Yup, there's a sequel. In 2015, we have Hansel vs. Gretel. Again, Hansel has become a witch hunter, and this time, Gretel has picked up where the previous witch left off, and there is a new coven in town who want to know what happened to their sister. Who will win when Hansel and Gretel face off? Finally, we come to my absolute favourite and the real reason I did this video, 2020's Gretel and Hansel. After being kicked out of home, Gretel and Hansel come across a house that is laden with food, and a kindly old lady lets them stay. She has interests in Gretel and Hansel, but for two very different reasons. She sees herself in Gretel and wants to teach her all that she knows and release Gretel from everything that holds her back, which apparently includes Hansel. This witch also has two forms, so is portrayed by both Alice Kriege and Jessica de Gaulle. In this younger form, the witch has many magic symbols tattooed on her body, including the horned god symbol and what looks like a veve. And of course, there is later a pentagram carved into a tree, so at least we know the woods are well protected. However, the witch interacts with Gretel in her older form and introduces Gretel to herb lore, including a salve which she applies to a staff, which can then be manipulated. This is of course reminiscent of the flying ointment that people used to think witches applied to their bodies and brooms to allow them flight to the Sabbath. This isn't Alice Kriege's first time taking on a witchy role either. In the Carnival Row TV series, she portrays Haruspex, named after her method of divination, haruspicy. In 2010's Sorcerer's Apprentice, she takes on the role of the sorceress Morgana, and I believe her upcoming role in the 2022 film She Will also have some witchy vibes. But she'll always be my Borg queen. In late 2021, we also had Hansel and Gretel After Ever After, but I cannot find that one either, though it seems to bring back the stereotypical witch appearance, though also seems to be pretty wacky. But just as well, 2021 also saw the release of Night Books. This witch, portrayed by Kristen Ritter, lives in a magical apartment and kidnaps children to do her bidding. She siphons her magic from the original fairy tale witch who sleeps in her gingerbread house. Portrayed by Jill Frappier, that witch became infected by candy and now has a truly terrifying appearance. Which witch was your favourite? Let me know in the comments, as well as any other recommendations for my witch lore reviews. If you liked this video, please be sure to like, share and subscribe to my channel to keep me going and stay notified of new content. And as always, thank you very much for watching here on Witch Way.